Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Super excited for today's video. I'm gonna be checking out a new cologne here. This is a cologne of Creed's Delphinus. So this one has been done by HKPerfumes. I will say they did send this one to me, but as always, I'll roast it if it's not any good. So I'll let you guys know, hey, is this one worth picking up? Are there other options out there? What do I think? So yeah, so I haven't actually sprayed this one yet. Usually I like to kind of spray it before I get on camera and then let you guys know about how long lasting it is. So this will truly be my first impressions of it. And then of course we've got the sample as always of Creed's Delphinus right here. So for those of you who don't already know, Creed Delphinus, that's kind of one of the new two fragrances that they just released. They had Centaurus and then Delphinus. I don't know of a whole lot of companies that are doing clones of Centaurus. I'm not sure if HKPerfumes is doing one yet. Usually they're ahead of the game. They try and stay ahead of the game. So I would check out maybe on their website. I do know for a fact though that Dua has one out right now for Centaurus and it was pretty good. So we'll check out the Delphinus one. I don't know of any other companies that have a Delphinus clone yet. So this might be the first one. It's definitely the first one that I'm smelling. New Creed fragrance. Vanilla, powdery, almondy kind of. It scores a 4.06 out of 5 on Fragrantica, so people are liking the new two releases. This was just last year, late last year that they released those two. So yeah, very excited to check this out, see if it's any good. This is a 30 ml. For those of you who haven't seen any of my other reviews, I've bought some, I've gotten some from HK. So I actually own a bunch of HKPerfumes colognes, and they come in any sort of size. Like I think it's like 5, 30, 15 even maybe. They have a bunch of different sizes, and as always I'll throw links in the description if you guys are interested in checking them out. But yeah, so here's what the bottle is gonna look like for the 30 ml. And it comes in kind of a nice container like this, opens up like a book. It says HKPerfumes kind of embossed on the front, and this is, yeah, the 30 ml Extrait de Parfum. So if you haven't seen my other videos on them, usually I feel like cologne companies, they'll say, oh, this is eau de parfum or this is extrait de parfum, and it's not actually that strong. But so far so good on these. They actually do feel like they're just upping the percentage of actual perfume concentrate in there. So they are nice and strong, which is good. So yeah, enough chit chat. Let's just check it out, okay? Cheap plastic cap, you guys know how I feel about the caps, but the rest of the presentation is quite nice. We actually have a metal sticker on there that says Musky. That's what this one is called. It's called Musky. Then it says Extrait de Parfum. Let's give it a spray here. Okay, as always, decent atomizer, nothing to complain about. It's not pressurized, but it is a nice atomizer. And then of course we'll get the original going here, just so we can kind of compare here. Okay, so yeah, so these are kind of their ambery releases, right? You can smell it from here. This is a nice, decently strong fragrance. Technically, I think this is called like an oriental floral fragrance. They keep changing kind of the names, the taxonomy of different perfumes. So, you know, hard to say. So I'll go through the notes with you. Decent strength. Top notes are almond, incense, black pepper, and pink pepper. Middle notes are orris, heliotrope, and orchid. Okay, so very nice and floral. This is a women's fragrance. Base notes are bourbon, vanilla, tonka bean, leather, amberwood, and patchouli. Okay, so yeah, so it starts with a nice almond in there. It feels almost unisex, but it pushes for sure towards feminine. So this is kind of more for the ladies, or if you got somebody special in your life that you want to buy kind of a more feminine leaning fragrance for, this will be a good option. So middle notes, they do push through. So what I'm getting mostly on first smell, and they are quite similar, what I'm getting on first smell is a lot of the almond. They're using benzaldehyde for sure. Benzaldehyde is a nice kind of a bitter almond smell to it. It's actually sort of a byproduct of cyanide production. So, you know, that's why you can't really eat the pits of the bitter almond, you know, they can be poisonous, but it has that kind of a nice, sweet, sort of ethereal smell to it. I would say as far as the fragrance goes, this is probably a 9 point something fragrance. So it is a solid release. I would say maybe 9.1. It's not my most favorite almond fragrance, but it is solid. If you know you like this fragrance and you want a cheaper option, I'm gonna say this is kind of in, again, HK is usually sort of in that 90 to 95% range, you know? So they're very, very good. I haven't had any super perfect clones except maybe the Babycat one. The Babycat was perfect, literally perfect. But these are so similar that if you smelled them, unless you smelled them right next to each other, you wouldn't even tell a difference. And even now, I like to pick apart the clones. I know you guys have seen all my clone videos. I like to pick them apart, but they're getting freaking good these days, guys. This is so similar. It almost has a sort of a dry, woody, like an orris note to it. Oh, it does have, yeah, duh, middle notes of orris. I was like, what is it? It smells like orris butter. Yeah, so they could be using orris Jivco. They could be using an actual orris tincture, but I think orris Jivco is a lot easier to use and work with. Who's the nose behind this fragrance? Oh, they don't tell me. Okay. So some of the folks over at Creed, I don't really know who did it. Yeah, I'm gonna say very similar. The only difference, and usually I feel like the difference with clones is you're gonna have a depth issue, right? So the base notes, they just don't push through in the fragrance. HK, I haven't had that issue before, which is good. So they don't lack depth, they don't lack the complexity. If anything, there'll just be very, very small differences. Maybe the florals are slightly different, but it's so similar. I mean, really, we're getting down to the 1% differences, the 2% differences here. Very similar. And thankfully, they're a little longer lasting. They push towards performance in their fragrances. Obviously, the presentation isn't crazy. It's not bad at all. I'm not hating, so don't hate me, HK, but they're not insane and out there with little Lattafa type, you know, presentations. Instead, they're focusing on getting good fragrances that have good performance. So this is a solid clone. I'm gonna say this one's a go. So so far I haven't had any that I would recommend not getting. What's nice is you can get them in different sizes. So I would recommend, yeah, probably at least a 30 mil, you know, I don't know. I'm not a big 5 mil or 2 mil kind of guy, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. What's the size that you usually go to? I like 30 and 50 mil, but sometimes with these clones, you get your money's worth out of the 100 mil a little more than the smaller ones. So yeah, really both of them, I don't smell pink pepper. I don't get a whole lot of pepperiness. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys get a whole lot of pepperiness? Let's see what they're saying are the main accords. Yeah, they're saying like vanilla, powdery, almond, sweet, and then the iris, like that orris butter. So I'm not really getting the peppery. I don't think anyone else is either. Yeah, this is more orris, vanilla, very nice, feminine leaning fragrance. It's solid. I'm gonna say go for it. Links in description, as always. Make sure to subscribe if you like this sort of content. You know, I go through all sorts of different clone brands or regular brands and stuff like that and tell you if they're worth it or if they aren't. So that way you kind of save yourself a little money and heartache, because I learned the hard way. I like to learn the hard way for you guys. This one feels mostly like a fall winter fragrance. I don't know if you'd be able to pull this off in summer. Actually, you probably definitely couldn't pull it off in summer just because it is a little more vanilla heavy. Spring, you could still probably get away with it, again, because they try to get that depth. It's almost that Chanel type depth, where, you know, it's a Coco Mademoiselle. It's a, you know, you can wear it in most seasons. It's a Bleu de Chanel, you know. You can wear it in most seasons because they try to get a little bit of everything, a little bit of spices, a little bit of florals, some sweetness, some woodiness, a little bit of everything. But yeah, again, this is mainly sweet, vanilla, almond forward. So this is really gonna shine in winter and fall. It's still winter, what the heck? It feels like spring is, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, I'll see y'all in the next one.